Good morning to all the students of class 7. So, we had already done exercise 8.2. Today we will start exercise 8.3. Okay? So, take out your books and open page number 120. Okay? And see number 1. When increased by what number when increased by 70% becomes 85? So, here whenever the question will be increased by 70%, that means 100 plus 70, 170%. And what number will increased? That means 170% of x is equal to, it is already given in the question, 85. So 170 by 100 multiplied by x, percentage meaning is divided by 100. Okay, 170 by 100 multiplied by x is equal to 85. You will cut the 0 first and then by 17, 17 5s are 85. You can multiply like this. Okay, and then here it is 5 and x equals to 5 multiplied by 10. That means 50 will be the answer. Okay. Next, number 4. When decreased by 20% becomes 28. Okay. That means decreased by 20%. 100 minus 20 percentage. That means 80 percentage. Okay. And 80 percentage of x is equal to 28. Again percentage meaning is by 100. 80 by 100 into x is equal to 28. Cut the 0 first and 8, 2 4s are 8, 2 5s are 10, and then by 4 7s are 28. Then here it is remaining 5 and here it is 7. That means x is equal to 7 multiplied by 5. That means 35 will be the answer. Okay students. Okay. See in number 3. The population of a town is 525,000. 60% of them are Hindus, 30% of them are Muslims, and the rest of the other are of other religions. Find the number of the people belonging to the other religions. Okay. So, Hindus 60%, Muslims 30%. So, total will be 60 plus 30, that means 90%. And the rest of the religions we will, how will we find out? 100 minus 90%. Why? 100 is the percentage. Okay. So, 100 minus 90%, that is 10%, is the other religion. And we know total population is equal to 525,000. So the number of the people to other religion will be 10% of total population. 10% of total population, and 10%, that means 10 by 100. We have already find out 10%, that means 10 by 100 multiplied by this. We will cut the zeros and the answer will be 52500. Okay. Next, see number 5. A man spent 15% of his salary on house rent and 29% on the education of his children. Find the total amount spent on house rent and education if his monthly salary is 7040. Okay. So, he spent on house rent 15%, spent on his children's education this percent, and the total you have to find 44%. Okay. So, and we know the monthly salary of him, this one. And the total amount spent by him is 44 percentage of his salary. And 44 percentage, that means 44 by 100 multiply by his salary. And then you have to cut the 0. And here I have done 44 multiply by 704, and the answer will be 30976 by 10. And you have already done in the decimal chapter, whenever there will be 10 in the denominator, you have to count one place from the back, that is 3097.6, and see it is the answer. Okay. Next, see number 7. Next, see number 7. Raju scores 40% in an examination. If his score was 72 marks, what was the maximum scored in the examination. Okay, so Raju scores 40% and the maximum score is, you have to find out the maximum score, and his score is 72 marks. Okay, so in percentage, if we say he had scored 40% and in marks we say he got 72, so what was the total marks? Okay, so 40% of x, 40% of x is equal to 72 percentage. That means 40 by 100 is multiplied by x, and then you will find 180. 180 was the maximum score in the examination. Next, in number 9, in a one-day cricket match, Rahul Dravid scored 40% of the runs scored by his teams. If he scored 128 runs, what was the score of the team? Okay, again, that means Rahul Dravid had scored 40% and 40%, and if we say in percentage he had scored 40%, but if we say in number he had scored 128. Okay, so again the same thing, 40% of x is equal to 128, and then you have to find out the same procedure by the same procedure, and the answer will be 320. Okay, next, see number 11. A brass vessel is made of 60% of copper and 40% of zinc. If the vessel is made of 500 gram of brass, how much of each metal does it contain? Okay. So the brass vessel is of 500 gram. Vessel contains brass 500 gram. And it contains copper, that means 60% of 500 gram, and by cutting the zeros we will get 300 gram of copper. And same procedure by zinc, it is said 40%, so 40 by 100 multiply by 500 we will get 200 gram, and hence this is the answer. Okay, next, say number 13. The price of the sugar was rupees 10 per kg. If it increases first by 20% and then by 25%, what is the new cost of sugar? So it was first increased by 20%. That means 100 plus 20, 120, and then increased by 25%. That means 100 plus 25, 125 percentage. Okay, and so the new cost of the sugar will be, it was already by 10. So 120% for by 100 and 125% for that by 100 and multiply by 10. It is already given in the question, and by doing this multiplication you will get 15 answer. Okay, do the multiplication from your own. Okay students, next, see number 15. The present cost of a car is 3540. Okay, and what will be the cost of the car after 2 years if the cost of the car decreases annually by 15%? So the cost of the car will get decreased every 2 years. Okay, so it is decreased by 15%, that means 100 minus 15, 85%, but in 2 years it is decreased by 15%. In the first year also it was decreased by 15%, and in the second year also it got decreased by 15%. So for 2 years we will multiply it by 2. Here also see, first year it was increased by 20 first, then in the next year it was increased by 25, so the numbers were different, but in this case the numbers will be same, because in 2 years, in the consecutively 2 years, first year also it was decreased by 15%, and then the next also it is decreased by 15%. So 85 by 100, 85 by 100 by this, and then we will get this answer. But after this, the cost of the card after 2 years will be from the total price. You have to subtract this, and then you will got this answer. Okay, so here we will end this chapter, and in the next day we will continue new chapter, that is profit and loss. Okay, thank you students.